Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Michael Ryan. I'm the creator of Pokemon Regions on Instagram and Twitter. And as promised, in today's video, I'm going to be introducing the third stage evolutions for the Route 1 Pokemon of my Fakemon region known as the Fyrún Region, and their Forge forms. Anyways, I know you guys are excited, I'm excited, so let's not waste any time and let's have a look. First up, we have the Fyrún Region's Pika Clone, Shakaru. This cutie has already made several appearances both on my YouTube and Instagram, but now it's time to give it a formal introduction. Shakaru is an electric and ice type. Shakaru are often found burrowing in the Fyrún region's snowy tundra. They hunt at night using the electricity stored in their cheeks to spot and stun their prey in the darkness. Like almost all Pika clones, Shakaru's name is in Japanese. It's a combination of the Japanese words shaku, meaning shock, and chiru, meaning chill. Like all Pika clones, it also sports the electric typing and Pikachu's infamous cheek pouches, as mentioned in its dex entry. However, Shakaru, based on the Stout, is also an ice type, a brand new type combination I wanted to explore for my Pika clone. And to clarify, I know the electric ice typing has been done before, it just hasn't been done in a Pika clone before, which I not only saw as an exciting opportunity, but thought it was very fitting of the region's colder climate, since the Stout that it is modeled after usually lives in colder Arctic areas, and has snowy white fur. Shakaru's cute and simplistic design stays true to all of this, but to really push the electric typing, I wanted to add lightning bolt patterns down its body, as well as lightning bolt shaped whiskers, and a tail shaped like a lightning bolt, similar to Pikachu's. To help further sell its ice typing, I wanted to give it icy blue cheeks. Before someone starts going off in the comments trying to state the obvious, I know that its color scheme is very similar to another Pika clone's, Pachirisu's. However, these are the colors I felt not only best fit the colors of the Stout it was inspired by, but of its electric and ice typing as well. But I didn't think that would be a problem, considering its body type is so different, and the fact that a lot of the Pika clones share a lot of the same colors like yellow. And the Pika clone Dedenne of the Kalos region even shares the exact same color scheme as Raichu, to the point that people even thought they were related when it was first revealed. Also, I know a lot of people, especially other Fakemon creators, really want a Pika clone that evolves, as none of them do except for Pikachu, who, well, isn't really a Pika clone as it's the OG. But for this very reason, until the Pokemon Company and Game Freak actually breaks this trend, which I personally don't see happening, neither will I. After all, you need to remember, every region needs a handful of single-stage Pokemon, and the Pika clones have pretty much become a staple in that department. I worked with and commissioned one of my absolute favorite artists, Trainer Mats, on this design. As most of you already know, Shakaru is your mother's, Professor Aspen's partner Pokemon, often cuddled up or relaxing in her lap, so you can expect to see a lot of it on your journey through the Fyrún region. Now, the moment I know a lot of you have been waiting for since seeing its silhouette. The Fyrún region's Route 1 bird, Arctern, inspired by the Arctic Tern, evolved into Hakryo, and is evolving once more into the fierce Gyrfacold. Taking to the sky, it is said to cause powerful blizzards with the mere flap of its massive wings. However, there's nothing more frightening than its razor-sharp talons that, as some tales claim, are strong enough to lift icebergs out of the ocean. Like its predecessor Hakryo, it is a flying ice type, which is something I really wanted to do, not only because it was fitting of its concept and frigid environment, but was once again a type combination not yet occupied by a regional bird Pokemon. I personally like to not only honor, but expand upon these sort of trends in the Pokemon franchise by exploring new type combinations whenever possible. Gyrfacold's name comes from Gyrfalcon and the word cold. The Gyrfalcon is Iceland's regional bird and an incredibly fast and large bird of prey. As a lot of you already suspected looking at its silhouette, Gyrfacold is also inspired by a griffin, as the word Gyrfalcon kind of reminded me of the word griffin for some reason, so I thought it would be in true Pokemon fashion to mix them together. The griffin is a legendary bird-like creature with the back legs of a lion but the head, wings, and talons of a bird. While most of you probably associate griffins with Greek mythology, they are found throughout European mythology. And even in Greek mythology, they are said to live in the far north, not Greece. I know making the regional bird a griffin is quite the statement, but honestly, after Corviknight in the Galar region, which is not only my absolute favorite regional bird, but one of my absolute favorite Pokemon and designs period, I really wanted to up the coolness factor, pun intended. As I mentioned in my last video, I also took a lot of inspiration and almost see it as the polar opposite, or counterpart to the Talonflame line. Another one of my favorite regional birds, originally found in the Kalos region. Not only are Gyrfacold and Talonflame both inspired by different type of falcons, but mythological birds as well, as Talonflame is believed to draw inspiration from the Firebird, a fiery colored falcon-like bird from Slavic mythology, whereas, as I just mentioned, Gyrfacold takes inspiration from the griffin, Since the Fyrún region is inspired by the land of fire and ice, I kind of imagine it as the ice to Talonflame's fire, as the Talonflame line will also be obtainable around the warmer areas of the Fyrún region, particularly its volcanoes. I once again worked with the talented Pokemon on this design. It now has a sleek bright white coloring in contrast to the more icy bluish white color of its pre-evolutions. This is to symbolize how much colder its icy powers are in its final stage. It also has more ice featured in its design, at the base of its massive wings hanging like icicles, and forming a crown on the top of its head. I've mentioned this many times before, not only in previous videos, but on my Instagram. I try to commission the artist I think is best suited for any given concept and design I come up with. I determine this by carefully looking at their own work and designs, and which ones I think are the best among them. More importantly, I always make sure to ask an artist their strengths and their weaknesses before ever commissioning them in order to get the best results possible. For example, a lot of artists really have trouble drawing bird Pokemon, but Pokéj is one of the few who doesn't seem to find it as challenging. Pokéj is also the king of drawing bug and ice type Pokemon, as those are his two favorite types, so I often try to commission him for the bulk of my flying, ice, and bug lines. Being as this is both a flying and ice type, he was the perfect person for the job. Next up, I'd like to introduce the final stage for the Route 1 bug line. It started with the adorable Wigglyme, inspired by the Jewel Caterpillar, evolved into Crystallis, the cocoon Pokemon, who like ore is hiding something magnificent and beautiful beneath its rough exterior, as it evolves into the exquisite Dimoth. Dimoth, like Crystallis, is a bug rock type, which is not only fitting of the pink gems found throughout its elegant design, but because it is inspired by an insect species found in Iceland known as the diamondback moth. Dimoth's exquisite wings are coated in rare gems that glisten in the light, especially as they flutter beneath the dazzling northern lights that occasionally paint the Fyrún region's night skies. I had to work extra hard with artist Pokemon to make Dimoth stand apart from all the other moth and butterfly Pokemon, while still looking like it belongs with them. This proved to be quite the challenge, as we ended up having to make a few changes to its design, as its initial design ended up looking too much like Frostmoth, which is fairly understandable as it shares some similarities with Frostmoth, not only being a moth, but ice and crystals really aren't all that different, at least from a design standpoint. However, I think the final design turned out wonderfully, and I couldn't be more proud of it, and I'm really glad we ended up making those changes. I love how the bright pinks look alongside the darker browns, and just pop with the crisp whites. Dimoth is actually the ace Pokemon of the first gym leader in the Fyrún region, Julia, a rock-type specialist. So I really wanted the design to look as elegant and majestic as possible, and more importantly to fit her design and the concept of her rock-type gym, which is all about value and beauty, as Julia, while beautiful, is pretty much a spoiled brat. I really hope Dimoth or one of these Pokemon makes it on your team in the Fyrún region. For those of you who may have missed my video introducing the Fyrún region's Route 1 rodent line, and previous stages for these bird and bug lines, I had briefly mentioned that Route 1 of the Fyrún region is a cold and snowy one, as most of these Pokemon's types, designs, and even their dex entries would suggest. Not because Iceland, which the region is primarily inspired by, is all snow, as some people seem to think, but because I thought this would offer a fresh take on the classic Pokemon formula, and showcase some types, such as the often ignored Ice type, earlier on in the journey. These actually aren't even all the Pokemon found on Route 1 of the Fyrún region, however, I post on Instagram in trios, and I like to line these videos up with those posts. I'll actually be introducing 3 more Pokemon lines found on Route 1 and at the start of your journey, as well as their epic evolutions in one of my upcoming videos. These designs include the Fyrún region's cat and dog Pokemon. I am really excited for all of you to see these lines, as they are some of my all-time favorites of the Fyrún region. I really wanted to make the selection of Pokemon earlier on a lot more diverse, and as epic as possible, so trainers can hopefully start their Fyrún adventure off right with a handful of mainstay additions to their team. Now that we've seen what these Pokemon evolve into, let's take a look at their Forge forms. If you're new and you do not know what a Forge form is, it's the Fyrún region's brand new mechanic, which I introduced in one of my previous videos. So I suggest that you go back and watch that video if you haven't already, before continuing any further, otherwise you're going to be really confused. Forge forms, like pretty much every other new Pokemon mechanic, would be controversial, and may spark a variety of questions and concerns that I went out of my way to address and clear up in that video. So before you bash it, go into that video with an open mind and listen to what I have to say, because I think it will really change your perspective not only on the concept itself, but on the entire Pokemon franchise as a whole, and how they normally approach these new mechanics. What I didn't really get into in my initial Forge form video though, as much as I would have liked, but have since addressed on my Instagram, is that there are 4 types of Forge form weapons. I know that I addressed that each Forge form has its own weapon type, with an added bonus effect that acts as your held item, but I never really went into what those weapon types and their effects were. So let's take a quick look at those. First, there's the slasher type, which includes anything you'd typically slash with, like axes, swords, scythes, and daggers. It increases the critical hit ratio on all of your moves. This is the most commonly found among the Forge Form weapon types. I also want to clarify that these Forge Form weapons being inspired by Viking weapons and the various magical weapons found in Norse mythology will not be modeled after any modern weapons like guns. Next, we have the Defender type, which gives the users HP a boost, and it's pretty much just shields. But please remember, these are magical weapons, so there's a lot more to them and what they can do in battle than meets the eye. And these Forge Form shields in particular will also have some sort of feature to make them offensively viable in combat, whether it's spikes, blades along the edges, etc. But its primary function is still to defend, which is why it's classified as a Defender type. In fact, a lot of the Forge Forms have different ways they could potentially be used in combat. For example, Heselder's Forge Form is a hammer axe, and while it could be used as an axe, it is primarily used as a hammer, and therefore classified as a wrecker type. Which, speaking of which, the wrecker type is another weapon type which increases all of your moves' chances of making your opponent flinch. The wrecker type applies to weapons you'd use to smash or bash foes, such as hammers or maces. Last but not least, we probably have the most diverse of the weapon types, the piercer type, which includes weapons you'd use to shoot, stab, or jab at your foes, such as spears or bow and arrows. The piercer type increases the accuracy of all of your moves. In fact, all three Forge Forms introduced in this video will not only be of the piercer type, but will be bows that shoot some sort of magical arrow. I commissioned and worked with the talented trainer Matt on all of my Forge Form designs, as he is one of my most trusted friends and artists in the community, which is exactly the type of person I feel I needed to help me bring this crazy concept and designs to life. Let's start things off with the previously introduced Fyrún Pokemon, Achetherain, the reindeer Pokemon I introduced a few weeks ago in my holiday special. Achetherain's Forge Form is a piercer type and a bow that magically produces and shoots razor-sharp aqua arrows. If you already watched the video Achetherain was introduced in, you'd know it's not only inspired by the reindeer found in Iceland, but by the creature from Norse mythology Achetherain, which translates as Oaky Thorn, and is known for its oaky horns that produce an abundance of water. So I wanted to honor and expand upon that in its Forge Form, with its oaky horns dominating the design of the bow, and the aqua arrows it shoots representing that and its water typing. If you look closely, the bow has blades alongside the front, shaped like water, so ideally it could be used in close combat to slash foes, much like a slasher type, but once again, since its primary function is as a bow, it is still classified as a piercer type. This is something you will see a lot with a lot of the Forge Form weapons in the region. Pretty much all the weapon type really determines is its added bonus, which I tried to separate among the designs and classify as I saw best. Next up, we have Girafcold's Forge Form, which is also a bow, but instead as an ice type, its Forge Form produces and shoots magical ice arrows. Since it's also a flying type, this bow's design centers around Girafcold's large wings, which also have blades around the edges, so it could be used in close combat as well. The Piercer's weapon bonus to increase accuracy would provide particularly useful for the ice type moves that can be learned by Girafcold, such as Blizzard, Sheer Cold, and most notably the new status move I introduced in the Pika region, Absolute Zero, which automatically freezes a Pokemon, much how Will-O-Wisp automatically burns a Pokemon, or Thunder Wave automatically paralyzes a Pokemon. Except this one has lower accuracy, since the freezing status is a little more broken compared to those two. However, all of these mentioned moves have fairly low accuracy that this weapon's accuracy bonus would really help boost and take advantage of. Last but not least, we have Daimoff's gorgeous Forge Form, which is once again a bow and a piercer type that can magically create and shoot rock-hard diamond arrows as a reference to the beautiful crystals found throughout its dazzling design. Like Girafcold, its wings make up the bulk of the bow, with blades along the side. The weapon's accuracy boosting bonus as a piercer type would pair nicely with powerful moves lacking precision like Stone Edge. I also really just love how majestic this Forge Form looks. Which of these Forge Forms or any of those previously introduced would be your secret weapon in the Fyrún region? And if you want to get the full Fyrún experience, please make sure to follow me on my Instagram account at Michaelmon_regions as well to see the stats, movesets, hidden abilities, sprites, and the shinies for all of the Fyrún Pokemon that I've shown so far and all the others to come in the future. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed these designs. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button, the notification bell, and most importantly, please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content. Your support means the world to me. Thank you so much, guys.